Hello, YouTube. It's Sunday night. Trying to get the Obama phone to light up and show me the day and date. I'm not holding it right. There we go. November 6th, 2022, 6:17 p.m. Oh, I need to get my ass in motion. I haven't even looked at the traffic yet. Usually on Sundays, it's not too big of a deal getting to work. I still like to see the traffic view, though. And one thing that does kind of bug me sometimes about this Obama phone is there is just not much in the way. They get bums in the alley, good times. There's not much tactile to it. It's just basically a black rectangle. There's not really much into a tactile to when I pick it up for me to feel its orientation if I'm not looking at it. And, you know, not only right now I'm driving, so I can't really look at it, but like it's dark. So, in fact, it's so dark that I guess this was the weekend that the rest of the nation quits using daylight savings time. Living in Arizona, I have a tendency to forget that daylight savings time even exists. It seems like an asinine thing to me. When I lived in areas that observed it, it always just struck me as stupid. And now that I live in Arizona and I have to deal with some people that have to accommodate it, even though they live in Arizona, it just seems absolutely insane and stupid to me. You know, and it seems like there was something going through the federal government trying to eliminate it recently. Never did hear how that turned out. I'm going to assume that failed, which is a bummer. Okay, with the stop sign, I'm checking my traffic. Yeah, it looks good. I see a little congestion after 67th Avenue, but I think I'll be all right. Probably be all right on the freeway, even all the way to 75th. You know, the other day, I don't think I vlogged on the way to work, but I can't remember if I vlogged that trip or not, but I do remember, I don't remember what night it was. Might have been Friday, actually. Actually, I'm thinking it was. It's probably Friday when I started heading to work from Bullocks. I didn't get on I-17 right there on Bethany because it was all congested, but I ended up just kind of going south on 27th Avenue, about a mile and a half, and then taking a side street over to the access road. And I think I got on the freeway at Indian School on the I-17 southbound. I wonder what is school doing. And that was fine. I made pretty good time on the 17 down to the 10. And there ended up being congestion on the 10, like pretty much starting where the 202 meets with it. And I did something I've never done before. I exited on 67th. I've done that many times as opposed to getting stuck in the traffic between 67th and 75th. But instead of, when I went south, instead of turning right on Garfield and taking Garfield to 71st, turning right on 71st, taking 71st to Roosevelt, and then Roosevelt across to the warehouse, I actually went a little out of my way, but it seemed to save me time by just taking 67th all the way to Van Buren, Van Buren all the way to 79th, 79th to the warehouse. That did seem, I mean, obviously I didn't sit down and time it, but it felt faster. Do that today. I do believe in my last video I promised that there would be some more videos of Flagstaff. Sorry to disappoint on that. A whole whose real name was Karen, and I don't recall ever calling her Karen. She was introduced to me as Gigi. I actually thought that was her name, as opposed to an amusing acronym for great grandma. Somehow I missed the memo, but that's what that meant. But anyway, it felt really good though. Actually, it ended up being sort of a family reunion of her for her, and mostly her descendants. Although there were definitely some people that to her she was their aunt or great aunt, and I do believe her sister was there as well. Although I didn't actually talk to her. Quite a few people. I forget exactly how many, but I was surprised that a lot of the people did remember me, and at least the ones that did remember me certainly had enough contact with Allison that they're like, "Oh, you're Allison's father." And I'm like, "Yeah." Anyway, for me, the most emotional thing, because I hadn't really had any contact with her for the last probably 3 years. But prior to that, there was a good solid 2 years where I was seeing her very, very regularly. And anyway, they had this slideshow going on the big TV in the living room where the service, for lack of a better term, was held. And it actually was going kind of the whole time. I mean, there was a lot of us hanging out there before and afterwards. Everything just kind of took place in this very large house where my last video ended, because the family had rented from Airbnb for a couple of days. In fact, I was told I could stay there until 10 a.m. the next, this would have been this morning, but I ended up leaving sooner than that. Anyway, inside the living room there was had somebody's laptop connected to it, playing a slideshow of pictures, and definitely there were quite a few of those pictures that just really brought back a lot of memories, and definitely reminded me, for a short period of time, Gigi and I were getting kind of surprisingly close, and it jogged my memory as to why that had happened. So, as I explained before, she was my daughter Allison's guardian, which had been illegally appointed via my ex-wife's will. It was her mother, and I guess to fully explain that, I would have to explain the story of how I found out that my ex-wife had died, and then what I did after that, and that is a longer story than I have time for on my drive to Amazon. Although I realize I'm making good enough time, I might be able to stop at a Circle K and get myself a safe drink on the way to work. That'd be nice. Anyway, sorry, I was thinking how nice it would be to get a 32-ounce Mountain Dew right now. Yeah, when that happened, it was very weird, and I don't have time for the whole story. And I should make a vlog about that. And I know a lot of people that watch me probably could give a shit less about that, but that's certainly something I'd like to get my story of that recorded, saved, while so many of the details are still vivid in my mind. And at this point, I mean, it's been long enough that a lot of it is, memories are starting to kind of fade. But my first encounter, not with Gigi, but her daughter Vanessa, was at Red Mountain High School. I received the news, and in order to really explain how that came to me, I'd have to explain how I found out that my ex-wife was dead. I received that news as I was bringing Lily home from school. Lily and her best friend Ariel, his best friend at that time. I don't know if I get the feeling that Ariel has no contact with Lily at all anymore. And I'm saying this because Ariel's mother is still on my Snapchat, so I see her stories from time to time. So I've been seeing pictures of Ariel growing up, but I don't ever see Lily with her. So there's that. Anyway, which reminds me, as soon as I got in the house in Flagstaff yesterday, Vanessa pointed over to the giant wraparound sectional couch in the living room where there were a bunch of kids, and there was also a big easy chair. It said, "Oh, your daughter's over there." And I gestured that way, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I walked over there, and I'm assuming one of Gigi's many great grandchildren looked disturbingly like my daughter Lily, and I had an absolutely terrifying moment that, for reasons that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever, Lily was there. My daughter Lily. Which turned out it wasn't. It was, and I'm not sure how much of that was her actually looking like that, or if that just was me being, that was my schizoaffective disorder rearing its ugly, frightening head. But boy, was that and I can't imagine the look I gave that kid. It probably scared the shit out of her as much as it scared the shit out of me. Turns out it wasn't her, and I didn't actually see Allison at that point in time because she was all, alright, asshole, whipping in and out of traffic, passing on the right. Matter of time till that guy wrecks his car. On that note, I should be paying attention to where I am. 43rd Avenue, next exit. So anyway, yeah, I'm bringing Lily home from school with her best friend Ariel, and that was a pretty regular occasion at that time. I want to say Lily was in second grade. Lily was in second grade. And now that was pretty much a regular occurrence for me at that time. Ariel going home from school with me. A lot of times I would actually pick them both up at. They were both in an after-school program at the community center. It was right next to their school, and the staff of the community center were told by Ariel's mother that she could leave with anytime I was picking up Lily, that it was okay for her to leave with me, which seems kind of odd, but I mean it was just like the normal thing. It wasn't unusual for me to pick them both up, and they would go to my place, and we usually watch a movie together and have dinner at my place, and then Ariel's mom would pick her up. Anyway, this day, it's kind of what happened. As I've mentioned before, I collect 3D movies and have a 3D home theater, which is a very unusual thing, and even more unusual now. And Ariel absolutely loves, my daughter Lily and Ariel both love 3D movies, and the bulk of my movie collection is children's CGI films, just because that's the bulk of what's been put out on 3D Blu-rays. And anyway, I had just received, maybe the day before, I just received in the mail, because most of them I've had to buy online. It wasn't something the stores hardly ever stocked then, and they really don't stock them now. But what the heck is that fool doing? That is not a parking place. Wow. That guy is an accident waiting to happen. Wow. It amazes me how many people take that exit and then slow way down Oh, I guess it has a speed limit of 45. Oops. I always drive 65 on this. This is functionally still freeway to me. I mean, there's no pedestrians allowed here. And it's quite a drive from like where you get off the freeway and then hook up with the other access road, and then actually you have to slow down for 67th Avenue here. I'm not going to get anywhere in this story, am I? Anyway, I'm in the car in my Lexus, and we're all me and Lily and Ariel are on my way to my place to watch The Secret Life of Pets in 3D, which we're all pretty excited about. I think all three of us had seen it in the theater anyway, but yeah, it was going to be a lot of fun, watching it at my place and eating whatever kind of munchy food I had lined up for that day, and it was a good time watching 3D movies with the girls, and anyway, I'm maybe about 2 blocks from home, and I get a call from my family law attorney, Karen Shanu. Who's she's like, "Hey Dan, how are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm all right. Just going home with the kids. Gonna watch a 3D movie." And she's like, "Oh." She goes, "Well, are you sitting down?" And being as autistic as I am, I didn't even kind of get that that just registered with me as a question. Am I sitting down? No, I wasn't sitting down. Damn, I wanted to turn left there and I didn't. I just took that as a literal question, so I answered it yes, because I was sitting down. I was driving. Sitting down is usually the position that one is in when they're driving. I didn't even click on that as the phrase for "Are you ready for?" as it being a colloquial phrase for "Are you ready for some really intense, earth-shattering news that you're likely to find extremely disturbing?" Yeah, I just took it as, "Are you sitting down?" "Yes, I am." And she's like, Daniela is dead. Daniela being my ex-wife. And I just, I kept my composure enough not to wreck the car, which is miraculous. Yeah, that was some earth-shattering news. And I'm going to leave y'all hanging right there because I'm at Circle K and I don't have a lot of time to run in and grab my drink.